while we're talking about music, a few facts for this day of August the 6th. You may be interested to know that on this date in 1970, Christine McVie played her first gig with Fleetwood Mac. I saw her as part of the Fleetwood Mac lineup a few years ago. While in 1997, U2 had their Spinal Tap moment at a concert in Oslo when the giant lemon they were supposed to emerge from didn't open. Spice Girl Jerry Halliwell was born on this day in 1972, while composer and conductor Marvin Hamlish died on this day in 2012. Album releases on this day include Stevie Nicks' Belladonna album in 1981 and Sheryl Crow's Tuesday Night Music Club, which came out in 1993. I mention all this because for the next hour, and indeed every Tuesday for the foreseeable, because we're not allowing him to go on holiday, we're going to be talking music in a bit of detail with a man you may be familiar with already if you're a regular on this late night show. Just like Frank Sinatra, James Bond and Lazarus, he's making a comeback and he knows his stuff from... he knows his first edition from his last dinner party and his Bad Bunny from his Good Charlotte. He is this man. Yes, we call him Dr. Beat, but for tax reasons we have to introduce him as Professor Joe Bennett from the Berklee College of Music in Boston, and he's going to join us every Tuesday. As we've already discussed, really, he's going to choose a theme. It may be one week, it may be an individual musician, it may be an individual instrument, and then he'll give us a few examples of why we like the songs we do. So we're going to learn a lot in this hour. TV Times, which is normally on a Tuesday, is now on a Wednesday, so Al will join us tomorrow. Every week at this hour there'll be a different playlist, and let's welcome him to the show. Joe, hello, welcome aboard.
Hey there, Tony. Great to be here again.
Yeah, welcome back officially. So we've touched on it already, but for those people who weren't listening, what's the subject this week?
Well, you kind of clued it up a little there when you said it's a comeback. So our theme for this comeback show is comebacks. We're going to be listening to a bunch of artists that took some time away from fame, success, public presences, and then came back with some terrific music, and we're going to be focusing on that terrific music. I have a little rule with playlisting the show that we have to have it as musically broad and diverse as possible, and most importantly something for people of all ages. So there's been comebacks pretty much as long as there's been artists. So we've got a whole bunch of music from the 60s through to the 2010s tonight. Yeah, and so we'll get into that in a little bit more detail. I'll just occasionally throw a few love bombs at you if that's all right. I'll take it.
Mel in Glasgow's. Well, Maya, have you seen that text from Mel in Glasgow?
Yeah, she said, great to hear Dr. Beat is back. I used to think I knew a bit about music, and then I heard Joe, and now I realise that I know nothing.
There we
at
are.
all.
We're all going to educate ourselves. And also, Joe, we've had loads of texts from people about songs that they feel sound similar to each other. So what we'll do is we'll forward them all to you, and you can deep dive into them if you like. And
I love that, Tony. I have a database. I literally have a database of them, so I collect them. So the more the merrier. Please bring it on.
We'll send them all to you, and you can use the ones that you feel are of merit. So look, you're going to give us a quiz every week as well. You've put together a quiz based on the theme. So what have you got for us tonight?
Well, it's often said in songwriting circles that there's only really four kinds of love song, spring, summer, autumn and winter. Looking for love, being in love, love on the rocks and dumped. The four stages of romantic relationships, we might say. And so in that last category, the heartbreak category, there is a lot of songwriters that like to write about this idea of I want you back, come back to me. I'm sure we can all think of tons of songs. So there are going to be 6 audio excerpts, and each one is an I want you back, come back to me kind of a vibe. And I'm going to play a bit of the chorus. Right. The songs are from the 60s through to the 2010s, and I'm going to play you maybe a 5 to 8 second excerpt. But because it is the comeback show, I am, unsurprisingly, going to be playing the audio backwards.
Crikey. Right. And our job is to what? Name the band and the song?
Yeah, we're looking for the song. I'll settle for the song, but bonus points if you can get the band as well.
Right. Okay, so you're going to play this out.
Let's do it. Here we go. Question 1. This band was from Gary, Indiana in the US, and this comeback song, came out in 1969.
Oh! I think I've got that one. I've got that one.
Okay.
I've got it. Hang on, I'm going to write that down. This is a momentous moment. I've got it.
Good to see. You should play along the studio,
Yeah,
Tony.
yeah.
So, question 2. This is a band from Los Angeles, California, and this track came out in 1977. So my tip with backwards audio, if you hear a bit of melody, you heard that ding, 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 you have to reverse that in your head and sing it in the other direction because it's backwards.
Gosh, this is
So,
Yeah, right.
to our next one, this is a British artist from, I don't want to give the town, I'm going to say Bedfordshire in the UK. And this is a song that came out in 1983.
Well, I've got the artist, but not the song.
Okay, well, maybe half points.
Yeah.
So for song number
I've got
4,
nothing.
this is a northern British band. Again, I don't want to give the town because I think it'll give it away. Northern British band, and this song came out in 1995.
I've got it.
He's got another one. Fantastic. It's like you're a radio professional. So, for number 5, this is, how can I do this without giving it away from the geography? This is from a band that is east of Humberside, I'm going to say.
Okay.
And this song came out in 2017. And finally, this is a song from 2018. It's an American artist from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's another comeback song. So there you go.
Wow.
6 comeback songs for the
For
comeback show.
goodness sake. Right. Well, I've had a little go. So what we'll do, we'll remind everyone of those in about 10 minutes' time, and then we'll give the answers towards the end of the hour. So it's just a bit of fun. Somebody's already texted the answer to number 1. That was the easy one. Number 1. I got that instantly.
Yeah, I got the band.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get through those very shortly. Now, so we're going to get to comebacks in a moment, Joe. But people will know on here that you're often asked for your professional opinion on whether songs sound similar in court cases. Is this for suspected plagiarism, direct ripping off, really?
Well, yes. I mean, the field is called forensic musicology, and it's what I do outside of my job as a college professor. I help lawyers and songwriters and music publishers and record labels to figure out if one song contains material that's been copied from another. It's actually quite rare, and a lot of people who would be the plaintiff in a legal case, a lot of people who believe their song has been copied can be mistaken because, as you said earlier, Tony, there's only so many notes. There's 7 notes to the diatonic octave. There's only 6 really usable chords in pop music, and everything's in 4/4 and everything's in 8-bar sections. So you do get little matchy coincidences, particularly of melodic fragments, and most of the time it doesn't mean anything. But my goal is to help my clients get to the truth. You're hearing some subjective similarity. Why is it similar? And it's actually quite rare that the answer is copyright infringement, but I help them get to the answer.
Yeah. So any songs that we're not accusing anyone of plagiarism. And the only reason I say that is because Paul in Worcester's just been on. There's loads of suggestions for you, which we're going to send to you. And
Love that.
there's not a lot of point me reading reading most of them out because I either know one song or the other, or none of them. So I can't help on that one. But this one, I happen to know both songs. So it's quite interesting. It says, songs that sound alike, says Paul. This is not an easy one to realise, but when I was writing a Liverpool FC anthem to Waterloo, the ABBA song, I suddenly realised Waterloo from ABBA sounds decidedly similar to Build Me Up Buttercup by the Foundations.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
Waterloo.
So they've got a similar groove. They're both in a major key. So yeah, you've got Waterloo, which is on the 6th and the 5th. Why do you build me up? So yeah, they're very similar, sort of bouncy melodic shape.
Yeah. All right. Good. Full marks to Paul. Now, so you're always on the lookout for songs. That's why people are texting, and we'll send them all to you. This week, you've got an example of songs released 50 years apart.
Well, right. So my radar is always active to listen out for songs that just sound similar, as I say, usually through coincidence. And this is an interesting one. This is a song called The Hudson, and it's been released just this year. It's from 2025, collaboration between Ashe, FINNEAS and The Favours. And I'm just going to play a little bit of it. I wonder if it reminds anyone of anything. Here is The Hudson, new single by FINNEAS, Ashe and The Favours.
You were late for the last train home. We had a way of losing track of time. The trees were bare and naked, and so were we. Two old strangers sharing really personal things. Watch the sun.
So you can see that you've got that little loop, dum, 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 dum. And people on the internet are saying, it's a phrase my 20-something daughter uses a lot, people on the internet are saying that it sounds a little bit like this song from the 1970s.
I took my love, took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around. And I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills.
So that was, of course, Landslide by Fleetwood Mac from 1975, written and performed by Stevie Nicks. But that little sort of musical trope, let me just grab a guitar and I'll sort of demo what's going on there.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
So let's just do this on acoustic guitar. So when you have a chord, you have chord 1. A lot of major key music is based on chord 1, 4 and 5, so you build a chord on number 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, chord 4 and chord 5. And what a lot of songwriters like to do is to play chord 1, chord 5, and either chord 4 or chord 6. And they do that in half bars. So if there's your tempo of about 73 beats per minute, it's 1, 2 and change, 2 and change, 2. So that's what's going on in sort of the mechanics of the songwriting. So when songwriters have an idea that's pretty cool and that is, I don't want to say predictable, but a very simple thing to do, they often build the same things on it. So as you said, Tony, I'm not saying that FINNEAS and Co. copied from Fleetwood Mac. Absolutely, quite the opposite. What I'm saying is this is a trope. It's the 1, 5, 6 chord loop. So I've put a bunch of them together. I like to put them in the same key and at the same tempo, which is a little bit of digital manipulation I do. So I found a few other examples of songwriters doing this. This is As Long As I Can See the Light by Creedence Clearwater Revival from 1970.
Put a candle in the window.
So you got that da-da-da-da-da-da-da. This is a Christian song from 2011. It's called I've Seen I Am by Jonathan David Helser and Melissa Helser from 2011.
I looked into the eyes of a liar. I felt the courage in his gaze.
And I think it's even arguable that it's a little bit of a similar thing going on in Lynyrd Skynyrd's Freebird from 1973.
If I leave here tomorrow,
So I've got my MIDI pads here. I'm going to try and mash these up together, same key, and I'll see if I can hit the switch on the bar line. Let's do all 5 in order.
You were late for the last train home. I took my love and took it down.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't look in the window
Oh, blimey, it's all becoming clear.
Yeah. Oh, I love this.
into the eyes of a liar. If I leave here tomorrow,
You were late for the last train home.
So they sound very
Yes.
similar, but there's really nothing to see here. This is just a coincidence. It's songwriters playing with the 1 chord and the 5 chord, and that's all it is.
My eyes were crossing trying to remember each song as you played it. And then when you put them all together like that, it's so
All
obvious.
made sense, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Brilliant. So look, so you'll be doing that for us every week, and that's where the listeners are hopefully going to make some pertinent suggestions, and we're going to send them to you of songs that could be considered for that kind
Right,
of.
yeah, and there's lots of reasons songs can sound similar. Just having similar instrumentation, similar chords, it really doesn't mean that songwriters are plagiarizing from each other. It just means that, a lot of songwriters like to use the same toolkit when they're creating popular music.
Yeah. Well, that's fascinating. So look, let's just remind everyone of the quiz as well before we get really into our comebacks, Joe. I've straight away realised that I'm wrong on the first one that I was so pleased I got because so many people are sending in a different answer. So are you going to play the quiz for us again now? Remind us what it is.
Sure, let's do that. Okay, so quick fire. Question 1, this is a song from 1969.
Yeah.
Question 2, this is from 1977, American band from California. Question 3, British solo artist from Bedfordshire, 1983. Backing vocals are clue there. Question 4, this is a northern British band, and this track came out in 1995. Question 5, this is a band that's east of Humberside. That's a really lame clue, spoiler. And this song came out in 2017. And finally, question 6, this is a song from 2018, and the artist is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Six comeback songs.
Yeah, Jazz in Leamington Spa is the closest so far with 3, I think. So if anyone else wants to have a go, what are the numbers if people want to have a guess at that? By the way, we were playing them backwards.
Yes,
You
we were
haven't
playing them
been
backwards.
drinking, everybody.
No.
Although your brain tries to listen to them. The fifth one,
Yeah.
I've come up with a song title that sounded like it was going forwards. So that's just ridiculous. Anyway,
Wow, you've done better than me.
what are the numbers?
Well, text 85058 or call or WhatsApp 08085 909 693.
Beautiful. Now, to the main event, a regular feature. We're going to try and call it Dr. Beat's Time Tunnel, see if it sticks, but, we'll throw it out there. It may not. So we're going to take a weekly journey through time on a theme, either forward from the dawn of popular music up to the present day or tracing it back from the contemporary stuff starting there. So tonight, because it's Professor Joe's comeback, we're talking about musical comebacks. And we're starting off in a big way. Although, Joe, this will be interesting. I'm just going to watch you as you fall off your chair now, because I did last night. Mark Webster hosts the greatest hour on 5 Live for us on a Monday. And in honour of you last night, we had him list the 5 greatest comebacks, musical comebacks of all time.
Wow, what a coincidence.
Yes, and And this one, I'll let you introduce it, he felt wasn't a comeback because he said he'd never been away. Controversial, because this is one of the most famous comebacks in musical history.
Yes, of course. So, as you say, about as famous as it gets, this is Elvis Presley, the comeback of 1968. And it's, I think if you ask most people to name one great comeback in popular music, it would be this one.
Well, and we're going to have a listen to, from 1968, If I Can Dream.
We're lost in a cloud with too much rain. We're trapped in a world that's troubled with pain. But as long as a man has the strength to dream, he can redeem his soul and fly.
Beautiful song, powerful song, operatic, and 1968. Then, Joe, take us through it. A hugely significant year in the life of Elvis. Why was that?
Well, right, because essentially the simple reason is he'd been away making movies. Elvis did a whole ton of movies in the late 50s, early 60s, and sort of became a bit more well-known as a film star than as a pop star, because the movies were doing so well, they just kept churning them out. So this was his attempt to get back to his musical roots. And the show was originally called Singer Presents Elvis. It was a TV show, but everyone called it the 68 Comeback Special, so that name kind of stuck. And it was a concert TV special. It aired on NBC in the US on December 3rd, 1968. And he'd pretty much spent 7 years, something like 7 years, just making movies and hardly doing any musical output at all. And it was, it was a big relaunch to his singing career. And I think he was very keen by that point to remind people. So if you look up footage of that show, he's there in the black leather, I was going to say onesie, the black leather rock and roll
cat
suit.
What do we call it?
Suit.
A cat suit, yeah.
Onesie.
We look pretty good. We look pretty good in it, Joe, I think.
I think so. Let's just be grateful this is on the radio. Leave it to imaginations. So he's one of my favourite moments of the show is the bit in the middle where he's like in a sort of a boxing ring with the other guitar players and with the drummer, and it's just guitars, and it's a bit like sort of Nashville style jam session. But that's the big production number we just heard there, If I Can Dream, which is a sort of a secular, apolitical version of the famous Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech. So obviously the I Have a Dream speech is very politically charged, very racially charged. It was very rhetorical, very theological. Elvis's lyric is a lot more sort of, I don't want to say bland, but it's a lot more pop friendly. It's a character that has a dream of a better tomorrow. But the message is the same of, humanity coming together. So the third line in verse 1, if I can dream of a better land where all my brothers walk hand in hand, tell me why, oh why can't my dream come true? Musically, it's sort of a 12/8 strummy ballad, but it's massively augmented by this sort of commercial orchestra and these backing vocals, this brass section. So it's simultaneously sort of heroic lyric, but absolutely mainstream commercial arrangement.
I'm just, I'm watching, while you're speaking, I'm watching the video, which is on YouTube, of him doing that, the comeback special, dressed in a white suit and a little neckerchief, and he's absolutely giving it everything. I wonder, I've never seen an interview about this, Joe, so I don't know. I'm just wondering out loud, where, how nervous he was at this, how pivotal this was in his career, whether he, if this had failed, would that have affected the rest of his career? Did he sustain this level for the rest of his life? He only
of
lived
course.
9 more years, didn't he?
That's right. 9 more years, died in 77. So, he was, it did lead to a whole lot of other things. There was the famous Vegas residency. He did, there was some terrific Elvis records that came out after this point, so the relaunch definitely worked. For example, Suspicious Minds was 1 year later, 1969 was a #1 single. And then just in 2 months, in August 69, he ended up playing for more than 100,000 people by doing 57 shows in Vegas, which was at the time an attendance record. He was using TV as the medium then, the best medium to get into the living room of every American family, and it really worked as a commercial relaunch.
Yeah. So we're saying that was a genuine comeback and one of the most famous of all time, you feel?
Well, it was the fans that renamed it the Comeback Special. They didn't call it that at the time, but everyone referred to it that way, and it just stuck.
Well, there we go. So, shall we move on now to the next one?
Let's do it.
So, there's no doubt. So, the next person we're going to listen to did sustain their career revival. Maybe she was even more successful second time around. This is Tina Turner, and What's Love Got to Do with It?
Understand the touch of your hand makes my pulse react. That it's only the thrill of boy meeting girl opposites attract. It's physical, only logical. You must try to ignore that it means more than
This is interesting for me, Joe, because Tina Turner, to me, musically, has always seemed to be a complete presence throughout my whole life. And so, what were the circumstances about her comeback? What can you tell us?
Well, Tina Turner had arguably several comebacks, but this was the big one. What's Love Got to Do with That? It came out in '84, and she left nothing to chance. So it was off the album Private Dancer. She used some of the hottest commercial songwriters. This was Graham Lyle and Terry Britton who wrote this one. And what I love about this song, I can't tell you how much I love this song musically. It's just pro songwriters at the top of their game. Obviously, Tina's vocal is astonishing and she owns it. This character who's sort of falling in love and trying to pretend this is just a physical relationship, but she's sort of scared of falling in love, and it's a very heartfelt character vocal. But musically, I'm glad you played that bit actually, Tony. So let me just grab electric guitar here. Hopefully you can hear that.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay?
We got it.
Got it. So we hear this G sharp minus 7 add 11 chord, which is the very first chord we hear in the verse. It goes like this. With the bass playing this G sharp bass note. So we're hearing this chord loop of and then resolving to the F sharp of G sharp. So they're not sort of simple pop chords. They're sort of sophisticated, jazzy, maybe a bit menacing. You must understand, touch up my hands, make my pulse react. And when you listen in detail to this record, there's so many parts to it. So as those two guitar chords are happening, you've got another guitar playing this sort of Strat style, this little percussive part. And then on the chorus, you've got a counter melody on the bass. So as Tina's singing, what's love got to do? You've got this bass line going. So this almost sort of reggae-influenced bass line. And on top of all that, you've got this little synth line. da-da, da-da, da-da-da. So there are these tiny moments of melody that all slot together kind of perfectly, and no musician is playing all over it. It's really disciplined arranging, and it works phenomenally well for the arc of the song and the sentiment of the character.
And so this, we've already established this was 1984. She was huge in the 80s, wasn't she? I know, I know there were Ike and Tina Turner in the 60s, and she's had various incarnations. But was this the peak for her, Joe, or not? Was it? How do you?
I think so. I mean, there were some great early records. Nutbush City Limits is a particular personal favourite. River Deep Mountain High, Proud Mary. A lot of people know those early Ike and Tina hits. But when she left that abusive relationship in the mid to late 70s, 1976, I think. And so this comeback, she was 44. It was a major reinvention. And as I say, I don't think she took any chances. She assembled the very best production team. She had a portfolio of phenomenal songs, and it was just so well put together, this song. And obviously a great vocal, but that sort of goes without saying in her case.
We're going to move on to another amazing solo female artist in just a second, but just a text drops in, Joe, offering a bit of controversy, but I don't know whether it does or not, really. David in Leighton Buzzard says, Elvis Presley and Tina Turner neither wrote their own songs. Does that matter when you're talking about their level of superstardom, that they're not singer-songwriters necessarily?
Well, right, yeah. And it's a good point. As I was acknowledging, that was Graham Lyle and Terry Britton, a very successful songwriting partnership. So I do like to celebrate the commercial songwriters, because there are so many icons, and even a bunch of people that you think of as songwriters. When you read the credits, Taylor Swift is a very famous contemporary example. She's a terrific songwriter on her own, and has indeed written fantastic songs completely solo. But she also collaborates. So it's a kind of a really common model in the music industry, and always has been. Artists collaborate. Sometimes you have a great singer interpreting someone else's songs. I mean, all pop music is teamwork. So I don't care, as long as it sounds awesome in terms of who contributed to it.
Yeah. Well, look, I've got a question, but it still stands for this next artist as well. So I'll ask it after we've heard from this another cultural icon now. So this is a comeback everyone will recognise. This is Cher and her 1998 comeback single, Believe. I don't know whether comeback's strong enough for that. It needs it's reinvention. That's an absolute banger for Cher. And the question I have, Joe, before you tell us why that's so special, is these artists, presumably they didn't just wake up one day and thought, I want to come back, I need a song. Presumably they've been trying for a few years to find that zeitgeist, to get that magic moment, and that was Cher's moment. She got the right song at the right time.
Well, right, yes, and we'll talk about the technicalities of the song. It's a fascinating story. But Cher, I think, probably holds a record of all the artists we're going to talk about tonight of the most comebacks. Not because she went off and failed in any way. She just went off doing other things. She made a ton of movies, and sometimes there were sort of ties in to the movies. So the movie Mermaids had the Shoop Shoop song in it, and she was in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, and released an ABBA revival album. So I counted there are arguably around about 8 Cher comebacks, starting with the solo comeback in 71 post Sonny and Cher, disco in 1979 with Take Me Home, the Riding on the Back of Moonstruck in 87.
She won an Oscar for that, didn't she? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and even recently, she came up with a Christmas album in 2023. So she keeps coming back. But I think of all the Cher comebacks, Believe was the one that took the music industry by storm.
And what was so special about it? Talk us through it.
Okay, well, the most famous thing about it, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is auto-tune. Now, I think a lot of people have a myth about auto-tune that you use it if the singer can't really sing. Well, Cher, I think, has proved more than she needs to that she certainly has the chops as a singer. But in the section you played just there, Tony, so we're in F sharp major, so you've got that, so sad that you're leaving. So what auto-tune does is it smooths out sharpens up, you might say, the gaps between the notes, and it makes the singer exactly on the note with no nuance. Of course, you don't have to use it that way, and most people in the music industry don't, but if you turn up what's called the pitch quantized control to the max, you get that robotic slidey effect. And in Believe, it was used creatively. Auto-tune only came out about a year earlier as a plugin for Pro Tools, I think. And so you could tweak it in such a way that you could get that robotic effect. But if you listen carefully to the vocal of Believe, auto-tune's not on for most of it. They use it as an artistic effect to turn it on, to make your ear go, whoa, what was that thing I just heard?
Yeah.
And then, of course, it caught on, and by 2002, people were using it in the Eurovision Song Contest, and it went mainstream.
Yeah, and so people associate her with that effect, don't you? They're doing a Cher kind of thing when you.
Yeah, people call it the Cher effect to this day.
And would that have been used by the writers in the process, or would you think it was just developed in the studio when she was recording it? I mean,
oh well, when Cher came in to do the vocal, the production team actually played this effect to her and said, what do you think of this thing that we're trying on the vocal? And she said that she loved it, but it's very carefully crafted. If you listen carefully through the record, particularly on headphones, you can tell the point at which they bring the effect on to bring the vocal center stage and really make you notice. And then the rest of the time it backs off, and the story is told. This is a song about healing from heartbreak fundamentally. So you've got to have the authenticity of the main character selling the lyric, but you also need that bit of ear candy. And it's a terrific record. Famously written by Brian Higgins and a bunch of other people. It was an early example of the pop model that the music industry uses pretty exclusively now, which is a team of writers.
Stephen Stokes says he's just suggesting a great comeback was John Lennon in 1980. Came back with some of his finest work ever. And what a great decade it would have been for him if of course, the what happened to him hadn't happened. And another one here, just a thought really, Joe. Dan in Oz says, Dr. Beat, with the way the current music business is being run, everything is so disposable. For the majority of artists, isn't every single essentially a comeback now? More than ever, says Dan. Well, you've proved it tonight. You can have many comebacks, can't you? You can be out of the charts for a few years and then you've got to fight your way back in again.
Well, right. And, I think people have been saying all pop music today is trivial. They've been saying that for about 60 years. That there's, at any time in music history, you find trivial music, or I would call music with an immediacy to it, what the industry used to call singles. And you find, deeper stuff that rewards repeated listens. And I think, it's a broad church. There's room for both.
Well, talking of a broad church, we're going to change musical genres now. We're going to look at somebody else who's been around a long time, still touring. In fact, has got a gig in Germany on Saturday. So we're going back to 1999 now with this one. This is Santana with Rob Thomas with the song that was everywhere that year. I don't remember the title, so I'm looking forward to hearing the tune. Here's Smooth. Oh, yes.
Almost every dance scene in a movie that's a club.
Has someone else done a version of this? Well, let's hear it, I suppose.
My Spanish Harlem Mona Lisa. You're my reason for reason. The step in my groove. And if you said this life ain't good enough, I would give my world to lift you up. I could change my life to better suit your mood. Because you're so smooth.
So, Joe, explain to me then, because I swear Santana were going in the 70s when I was buying records. I'm sure they were prog rock, or I had them down as that. That's not a song I would expect to come from Santana.
Well, prog, Latin rock, what would you call it? Those early singles, Oye Como Va, Samba Party. I mean, I think what was new in the Santana sound in their early days, the sort of Woodstock days, was the idea of this sort of very saturated lead guitar, very melodic top-line lead guitar, played with Latin percussion band playing chord loops. And actually, there's a lot of that legacy here in Smooth, in the big comeback. You've got some sort of guiros in there and various bits of high Latin percussion. And that chord sequence, let's just grab it. So we're in A minor, so it's dum da do 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 do. So you've got that sort of 2-bar loop, which is perfect for improvising over, and Santana goes for it. I'm not going to attempt to play his licks because he has that certain something. But it's still got a lot of that Latin sound. The vocalist there is Rob Thomas, who was one of the co-writers and actually wrote all of the lyric. The original music was by a guy called Ital Shur, who's a really interesting, actually an acid jazz musician who's done a whole ton of things. This is perhaps his claim to fame in pop. But, I was just starting teaching pop music in colleges in the late 90s in Bath in the UK. And that record was, as you said, Tony, everywhere in 99. And I have very fond memories of my students jamming it and having a ball with it. It's a great song.
And so on the levels of comeback, Joe, how big was that? Because they were out of favour, weren't they, for a decade or so?
Well, think about what was happening in the 90s. We'd had acid jazz, we'd had grunge, we'd had the Spice Girls. Yes, Santana, I think it's fair to say by that time, might have been seen as a bit of an old rock dinosaur from the Woodstock generation. But when they came back with a song this darn good, I just think, it deserves all the plaudits. And I think it won a Grammy. Is that right, Tony?
Let's have a look. Yeah, it won Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best Pop Collaboration at the Grammys, yeah. And the album won 9 Grammys. So amazing, really. We promised, Joe, what we would do is move through the years. So we've let's see, where did we start? We started with Elvis in 1968. So we now going to go to let me give you the year 2016. Yeah. So this is the reappearance after nearly 20 years of A Tribe Called Quest. Right, this is a journey into the unknown for me. This song, have you heard of Maya? No?
I have.
You?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Finally, I'm comfortable in
Yeah, you're happy now, yeah. The song is called Conrad Tokyo and features Kendrick Lamar and Jack White. Let's have a listen.
Everybody's mumbling, fumbling, swearing they're the greatest. On day the latest, if we did for them, we're haters. We ended our hiatus, the dogs looking for food. The nucleus is here now. Ooh.
For devastation, got a hunger for sin. Every nation, abomination, let the coroner in. Crooked faces, red and blue laces for the color of men. Just embrace it, a die-alone song of revelation. Reverence and cattle's racing, devils and demons and Deuteronomy. Fumigate all economy, illuminate broken dreams and manifest all insanity. Look around, sayonara tomorrow, here's just blood on the ground. 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 Sayonara tomorrow, here's just blood on the
Well, there we go. Talk us through that one then, Joe.
Yeah, well, this came out in 2016, as you said. Conrad Tokyo, the title, actually it refers to a luxury hotel in Tokyo. But this is absolutely in-your-face 2016 political hip-hop. And, you know, I do love Kendrick Lamar, and I like to find reasons to play him on the show because he's such an important artist of our times. But it's very hard to find anything where there aren't a whole lot of swears in the lyric that you can play on the radio.
I was sweating there. I'll give you that.
So, well, I work with my research team, and we're very, very careful in what we playlist for the show. So we actually heard Kendrick's verse there, and of course, 2016 was the time there was a bit of a revolution in American politics. It was the start of the first Trump administration. He was elected in November 2016. And the song is a sort of railing against injustice and rightward-leaning politics. So the verse we heard there from Kendrick Lamar was toleration for devastation, got a hunger for sin. Every nation, abomination, let the coroner in. Crooked faces, red and blue laces for the color of men. Just embrace it and die alone. Song of revelation. Reverends and cattle's racing, devils and demons and Deuteronomy, fumigate our economy. And obviously he does it with his amazing rap flow. But it's, we talk about rappers spitting lyrics. There's a sort of a political rage in these lyrics. Musically, Tribe Called Quest, they're so influential. They brought together sort of jazz and bebop in the beats. They worked with double bassist Ron Carter through quite a lot of their career. But this was their comeback album and also their final album. The sixth and final studio album, the album called We Got It From Here, Thank You For Your Service. So the rapper and main producer Q-Tip, rapper Five Dog, DJ and co-producer Ali Shaheed Mohammed, and rapper Jarobi White we're listening to there with, as I say, Kendrick's verse on the rap. And the album features guest appearances of musical royalty of the time: Andre 3000, Kendrick Lamar, Jack White, Elton John, Kanye West, Busta Rhymes. The list is long. So it's sort of anti-injustice. It's anti-autocratic politics. It talks about race issues in America, particularly, and it's just a fantastic record, but very hard hitting.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting journey. We've got one more band to go. So, Joe, I'm in your hands here. Shall we do that now, or shall we finish? Shall we get the quiz answers out there, and then we'll finish on the band? What do you think?
Shall we do the reveal on the quiz? Have we had a bunch of entries?
Yeah, let's do the reveal. Yeah, people have been having a go. I don't think anybody's got all of them. So you play the reveal for us. So this is 6 comeback songs in year order and play backwards. And we want to identify the song.
Right.
Are you going to shout them out, are you?
Exactly right. So I'm just going to, I won't play the backwards one because it was painful the first 2 times for people. We'll get to hear them forwards properly. So for question 1, here are the answers. For question 1, the song it was from 1969. The band from Indiana, US, Gary, Indiana, Can Only Be the Jackson 5. Easy one, I think. The song was I Want You Back.
Yes. I have a feeling Benny's got them all right. I'm just gonna mark his card as we go through it. Correct.
Number 2 was from 1977. Although it was absolutely 70s, and you would think maybe older 5 Live listeners would have an advantage, I think this one was pretty tricky. This is a song called Baby Come Back. The artist was Player from 1977.
Baby, come back. Any kind of fool could see there was something in everything about you.
The original 70s slow jam. Love it. Back to the UK, and this song was from 1983. The Bedfordshire, England artist was, of course, Paul Young, and the song Come Back and Stay.
Hurry, why don't you come back? Please hurry.
Come back and stay for good this time.
Yeah, Benny's still on track. Andrew in Brixham's not got them all, but he says, I wanted to have a go and say, welcome back. Great to hear you on the radio. So the love continues.
Oh, fantastic.
Right, next track.
So next,
I got this one, for goodness sake.
Northern British band. Well, you're a tried and true Northerner, as am I, Tony. So I think we would be ashamed of our roots if we didn't get this. This was from 1995. The song was Back for Good. The artist, of course, Take That.
Whatever I said, whatever I did, I didn't mean it. I just want
Great
you
tune.
back for good. Want you back. Want you back.
And I gave you the slightly cryptic clue for number 5 that this was from an artist that is east of Humberside. If you know your British geography, you know that that's mostly sea. So it's very east of Humberside. It's Seoul, South Korea. The artist was BTS.
Come on.
And the song Come Back Home.
Benny's doing well.
Benny's doing well.
And finally, question 6 from 2018. The artist from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania was Mac Miller.
I knew it was Mac
and
Miller.
The song, oh, well done.
I just didn't know the name of the song.
The song is called Come Back to Earth.
My regrets look just like texts I shouldn't send.
Well,
congratulations to Benny.
Benny got
Getting
a
them all.
lot. Full
6
house.
out of 6.
Yeah, loads of people were sending in odd songs, but not them all. So Benny wins that one. Well done, Benny. It's a comeback special. It's Dr. Beat's comeback special. There's so much love flying around tonight, and we're going to end the comeback song choices with a band. Well, these are one of my favourite bands actually, but this is from last year. And there was a new album out by The Cure. Let's have a listen to the song Alone.
This is the end of every song that we sing. The fire burned out to ash, and the stars grown dim with tears. Cold and afraid, the ghosts of all that we've been.
So I'm going to jump in only because we've only got a minute left, really, Joe. But the band's first release of new material in 16 years, so hugely significant.
Well, right, and the fans, the jury's out with, and so are the fans on. Is this the final Cure album? Robert Smith has hinted that it might be, but yeah, this was a very big comeback for them, and it's a wonderful song. We were hearing that section from 3 minutes 20, which is when the vocal starts. So it has this incredibly long atmospheric intro. Really bucking the trend driven by TikTok of short intros that we have in pop music now, and they're just going for it and creating this sort of soundscape. It's a really terrific listen. I recommend people go and check it out.
Well, Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's our first one, and I've loved it. And I can tell I'm a great reader of the text console here, and they do let us know if they don't like something.
They love it.
They love you, but you
dodged a bullet. That's nice to hear.
You knew that anyway, because you were really popular when you were on with Gordon. So
I'm so looking forward to hearing more on this.
Yes,
next, so fascinating.
Next Tuesday we shall have you back. So you'll choose your theme. We will forward you all the text from listeners about similar songs, so you can explore those. See if there's any material.
And I will try and bring listener suggestions onto the show whenever I can.
Fantastic. Joe, an absolute pleasure. Have you enjoyed it?
Oh, it's been really fun. Analysing pop music is my favourite thing to do.
You're in your zone.
Yeah, he's in his zone.
You are in your zone. Love it.
Apart from the cymbals between your legs, we've seen every instrument out tonight as well. It's been fantastic. Joe, I'll speak to you next Tuesday.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you. There we go. Professor
Bye.
Joe Bennett from Berklee College of Music in Boston, otherwise known as Dr. Beat. Going to be on every Tuesday now here on the show. We're really privileged to have him. It's going to be great. TV Times tomorrow. I'm back tomorrow at 10:30. Maya, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We love you
fun.
all, folks. Have a good night.
Bye.
Dalton's up next.